I do not want to see any more Shakur haters. After years of getting called a runner, Shakur had no other choice but to make a statement last night against William Zepeda. This is also after Turkey said he does not want any more Tom and Jerry fights. So I thought that this would be an interesting fight. Zepeda is an insane pressure fighter who has incredible volume, making it harder for Shakur to run. And he had Shakur on the ropes a lot yesterday, and even caught him in the third round. But Shakur did in fact stay in the pocket for a good chunk of the fight, letting all the doubters know that he could fight in the inside. And it's funny too because Shakur is one of the better inside fighters in boxing right now. He did start to run and keep his distance for the last 3 or 4 rounds, but by that point, he already basically had won the fight anyway. And while Zepeda has that high volume and throwing a lot of punches, he wasn't really landing too much. He was getting countered a lot by Shakur, even though Zepeda had Shakur in the corner, on the ropes, a place that a fighter you never want to be, on the ropes and in the corner. Shakur was still staying composed a lot of the time because he was getting caught in that third round and just constantly off that shoulder roll countering. Reminded me a bit like Floyd Mayweather. And even though Shakur was landing, and that's why he was getting the round scored for him, that's why he was actually getting the points, landing the punches. Even though he's landing, his power, of course, is not there. And a big concern with Shakur for this past year or two was just his brittle hands. Those gloves themselves looked a bit padded. And it makes sense because, like we say, Shakur has brittle hands. And he was trying to throw some power shots to look like it. And there was times where he would snap Zepeda's head back, but it wasn't really much damage on those punches. And that really brings up the question with Shakur in the future, especially if he decides to bump up to 140, where he's going to need that power. Where he's going to need that power at 147 as well. If he's going to fight Tank, he's going to have to make Tank respect him. Just by outboxing him, that could do okay for the first 5 or 6 rounds, but in those later rounds, how are you going to keep a guy like Tank off you who's really powerful? Zepeda, of course, was on him all night, but Zepeda, his power wasn't really there either. He just has that high volume punches. How are you going to keep a guy like Tank off you? How are you going to keep a guy like Teofimo Lopez off you? Richardson Hitchens, right? That incredible reach. So it's just the power, the hands, that really makes us Shakur fans and anybody in boxing worry for Shakur to see how he's going to do against those powerful fighters. But I hope all the criticism, all the doubters, start to go away from this fight. I've always been a fan of Shakur Stevenson. I've been on record multiple times on this channel, on Instagram. I've always been a fan of Shakur Stevenson. I truly believe that he has the abilities to beat anybody at lightweight. He has the abilities to beat Tank. I said earlier that Tank, if he's going to be on him, Shakur's going to need to make Tank respect him. Yeah, Tank has the abilities to beat Shakur as well, right? That power, but Shakur also has the abilities to beat Tank. That's why this fight needs to happen. It's a 50-50 fight. Shakur's the better boxer, the better defensive boxer, but Tank is a tank. He's an animal. He's powerful, and it's going to make it a very interesting fight. 2 different styles. Styles always make fight. A powerful boxer like Tank versus a slick counterpuncher defensive fighter like Shakur. Styles make fights. That's why we want to see it. But Shakur definitely has the abilities to beat Tank. He had the abilities to beat Loma when Loma was active if they ever fought. He has the abilities to beat Keyshawn Davis, Abdullah Mason. And about 140, we might be pushing it due to the size, due to the power. But anything could happen. But at 135, though, I promise you, he has the abilities to beat anybody. People are just recognizing that now. People are just realizing that now when they saw Shakur actually step in, stood in the pocket against a powerful inside fighter like Zepeda, a Mexican fighter. Mexican fighters are known to really stand in that phone booth and go toe-to-toe with you, take a shot to land a shot all night. You look at the champions right now, Raymond Moratelli, he just got bumped up to IBF after Lomachenko retired. I see Shakur beating him pretty easy. Andy Cruz would be a good fight. I'm just really listing guys because the lightweight division is a bit weaker now. It used to be stacked. The 135-pound division 2 years ago was the best division in sports, arguably. You had Tank, Shakur, Haney, Loma, Ryan Garcia at the time, a few others off the top of my head, Teofimo Lopez. 2 or 3 years ago, that division was stacked. Now it's starting to weaken out. I think we just have a lot of young guys coming up now that probably in 3 or 4 years, the lightweight division will be stacked again. But we have Gervonta Davis that he could fight. We have Abdullah Mason that he could fight. He's, of course, fighting for the WBO title soon. I'm sure he'll win it. Abdullah Mason is very, very good. Roach, right? We're seeing that rematch with Tank, but Tank getting arrested, that might fall through. And maybe we'll see Roach against Shakur. Roach called him out, not really called him out, but said, hey, if anything happens, I'm here. Schofield as well, that fight was supposed to happen. Schofield had a very good performance against Tevin Farmer a few weeks ago. That'd be a good fight. Give Frank Martin another shot. I don't think none of these guys can really beat Shakur, though, besides Tank. That's the crazy thing. I think Shakur will be unbeatable at 135 if he does not fight Tank. And if he fights Tank, like I said, he has the abilities to beat him. But, of course, Tank has the best shot at 135 to beat Shakur. What a great performance by Shakur. He had to make a statement. I knew he was going to win. But what I was really curious about is he going to actually stay in the pocket now? After all those doubters, after Turkey down his neck saying, hey, you want to stay on these big cards, you want the money, you got to fight. I was really curious to see if Shakur was going to fight, and he did that. He did that. He exchanged. He doesn't have the power to damage his opponents, but he has the power to make them respect you a bit, and, of course, be in favor of the judges. So it was very impressive. Very good statement win by Shakur Stevenson. Very good statement win. Just worried about those hands. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Comment down below what you thought of the Shakur versus Zepeda fight. Who do you want to see Shakur fight next? Do you think this is pretty good now for Shakur? He's actually fighting in the inside. Do you think he's going to continue doing this? I don't think so. Alright, it'll be dumb for him to fight in the inside against Tank. That's common sense. I don't mind him running against Tank because it just won't work against Tank to fight on the inside. You fight in the inside with Tank, you're going to get knocked out. But make sure to leave a like, subscribe. I'm out, guys. Peace.